Saying, you know what the fuck going on, man. I'm in that bit with my manager, man. Geeked up.
Molly, you fool for this one.
That boy a fool. Took that nigga down, we going under. Bitch, I'm really hell. This Drake, I got whole 75 rounds. This bag gon' kiss the shells. My opposition's on list. Lil' bro gon' hit my bitch, gon' pay they bail. That drop, make a J twin speedy, need a fist, little shot, go get the scale. Don't ask me about no gun, I'ma look at you dumb. We ain't got shit for sale. They tried to play me like a pun, feeding me crumbs, they all they food still. I'm digging until she come, that shit in her lungs, I'm drilling like a nail. Them op hoes get hung, niggas ain't done, I'm leaving, bitches pale. Young San don't fight a fuss, my clip a plus, but I can still subtract. I was locked in that cell fucked up, boy, don't get bucked for all your food and snacks. I'm racist like the Ku Klux, I don't like niggas, but my gun black. These bullets stick like thumbtacks, I done locked in with the A-Rab, this the M92 Drake.
Hello guys, welcome to Boxing Blog Center. Please, if you're new to this channel, make sure you click the like and of course the subscribe right now. So Canelo Alvarez defeated Gennady Golovkin for the second time in their much anticipated trilogy. I want to say congrats to Canelo Alvarez. You know, he won via unanimous decision. The fight, I have to say, was good. Canelo landed some power punches and tried to work Golovkin down a couple of times. He did the Canelo way, you know. However, I think Canelo Alvarez should stay away from Bivol or fighting guys like that, because if he fights Bivol 100 times, he's not beating him. You know? So, Canelo Alvarez remains the undisputed WBA, WBC, IBF, and WBO super middleweight world champion. But I have to say that the scorecards was a little bit horrendous. You know, looking at the fact that, you know, how can you have a horrendous scorecards of 160, 112, 115, 113, 115, 113. That's all for judging. You know, he won, but it wasn't that of a wide margin. So it's just a little bit interesting. So let's get around here. Kidechuku, what do you make of the fight? Did you enjoy it? And yeah, should Canelo Alvarez rematch before?
Yeah, I enjoyed the first 8 rounds. I thought the level of intensity was very good for the first 8 rounds. I think that it just started dying down from the 8th round down to the 12th round. It just fell into the pattern of the first fight, where 2 of them were tentative. Well, very, more or less like they just gassed out as far as I'm concerned. And then when you listen to the Canelo post interview, you know that he almost like how Floyd used to have issues with his hands. He had issues with his left hand, and that was probably what happened. Because I was like, this is the same Canelo at 168 that from the 10th to the 11th round is usually his strongest. That's when he stopped. That's when he stopped Caleb Plant. That's when he did most of Billy Joe Saunders in the later rounds. He always becomes stronger because his agility is more. The opponent gets tired and everything. And he was one that was getting tired and clinching. And I was like, no, something is wrong. So after the post fight, and I heard that he could barely even do anything with his left hand for the past month and everything. That he has to have surgery. So I just understood why, because there's no how Golovkin could have survived, because I know at 168, Canelo is going to come through strong in the last rounds. So it just fell into the pattern of the first fight. So it was just Canelo just trying to maneuver and survive. And I just think that, dude, I had that fight, even just dashing Golovkin, just had it 8-4. I had it 8-4, but it wasn't even close to me. Golovkin is done. I mean, he just needs... See, any Black American with a slick style, or anybody with a slick style that has decent power, wins versus Golovkin. And that's the truth of the matter. I mean, he's had a good career. He's made good money. This is going to be his career high payday. He's leaving the zone, but at the same time, he has shares in the zone. He has equity shares in the zone, so he's not really leaving the zone. But look at everything. If I'm to score all the fights, the trilogies, I'll rate this as number 2. I think the second trilogy was actually their best one. The first one, I don't rate it, but the second trilogy, this one was a good one. It was probably number 2. Probably if Canelo would have been 100%, it would have been probably number 1. It would have been probably number 1. I think he would have stopped him. I think he might have not stopped him, but the corner would have thrown in the towel, because trust me, after round 5, 6, if you are listening to the corner were like, they were confused. They were like, "Oh, do what you did in Big Bear. These are the moments that we trained for." That was panic. They were panicked. It's just that Canelo slowed down from round 8 downwards. That was their saving grace. If he continued, Golovkin would have gotten knocked out. But it was a good fight. It wasn't like I expected it to end, but all in well, it's good. I think GGG will continue. Now GGG is just for money. He's not going to be fighting anybody that doesn't bring more than $50 million to the table. This is his money. It's time for him to cash out. He's 41 or 40 something. It's time for him to cash out. He's not going to care about where. If you tell him, come and fight in South Africa and we'll pay you $15 million, he doesn't care. He'll go and fight in South Africa. So his own is now money. He's now a businessman, more or less. That's why I told you that he has 3 titles. At the post-fight interview, that's what he said. He has 3 titles, meaning he's considering the IBO, which is a South African title, as a title. So if they bring him to South Africa for $15 million, he'll go there. It's all about money. Canelo, I don't think we'll see him till probably mid-year next year. Cinco de Mayo next year, probably May next year. He'll do his hand surgery, 3 months recuperation. So we won't see any hand surgery. We won't see him till 3 months for at least a good 6 months.
Opinion, like Canelo should be knocking out a 40-year-old Gennady Golovkin, but
yeah,
it just shows that he said he would beat a Bivol. I don't see it happening, bro.
You said what? Sorry, I missed that.
Canelo said he would beat Bivol.
No, he can't beat Bivol. See, guy, let's be realistic. He can't beat Bivol. Bivol is something different. See, those guys are 170 this thing. Those guys are, all of them actually fought with Usyk at that cruiser heavyweight level. Those guys, they are weight classes for a reason. Canelo plays with people like that, you're going to get destroyed. Just stay away from Bivol. And Bivol was very tentative that fight. He wasn't aggressive. He was not aggressive. Let's all be honest. He was tentative for that fight. He wasn't aggressive. If he was aggressive, we all know how aggressive boxers are now. He would have taken that fight to Canelo if he knew what he knew. He wasn't. So just stay away from him. Just rule your 168, go down to 160, make money. See, Bivol and Beterbiev, stay away from them. Just stay away from them. That's my own advice.
I think a Beterbiev will be even worse if he tries. Like, come on, that'll be worse, bro.
Those Dagestani people, they don't show any mercy. Those Chechen Dagestani people, they don't show any mercy. Bivol knew he had him beat. He just still boxed his way. Those guys, the kind of punishment they'll give Canelo, they like to. Their own is you must submit to me. You must submit to me. That is his own. That is Betviev's own. You must take that knee. Even if you do not like it, you will take that knee. You will take that. So if you know he's going to make sure he punishes him. Punish. I remember Beterbiev beating Chad Dawson. If you see what he did to him, no. Until they threw it, I think they threw in that tower. Oh my God. See, you are going to submit to him. You are going to submit to him. Stay away from that 170 something division till those guys leave that division. You still have time. You're 32 now. Those guys are. Bivol is young, but Beterbiev just has like 3-4 more years, and then you can come back to that division. But leave that division alone.
Yeah. It's one of those things, man.
Yes, sir.
Adewale, what was your take on the fight and trilogy and the scorecards? Adewale, mute from your side. Adewale.
Yes, brother.
Yeah. Yeah. What's your take, bro?
Yeah, on the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a good fight. As we expected, most people, the younger, fresher guy, coming from a loss and had his ego bruised. He had to show, he had to perform, and that's exactly what he did. But at the end of the day, I want to speak more about the trilogy, Canelo Triple G. It was a decent trilogy. What I seen in the first fight was a robbery. Okay, it was a close fight, but I thought Golovkin slightly edged it, but he gave it a draw. The second fight was for Canelo. Canelo. He performed well, and the third fight, Golovkin was way washed, and Canelo did his thing. So both guys came together and gave us some stories to talk about in boxing history. We're going to be talking about this trilogy for a long time. It wasn't super exciting, but the first two fights were okay, I would say. The first two fights were good. Golovkin, I don't know, man. I don't know what is going on. Came up from 160 pounds to challenge Canelo for the undisputed title in 168. He is a champion in 160. So is he going to be relinquishing those titles? All right. Okay. That aside, 160 pounds in general, we don't even know what is going on. Like, there hasn't been any unifications, no undisputed matches. I think Golovkin had 2 belts, and 2 other guys, Charlo and someone else, have 2 other belts. These guys are not fighting one another. Now Golovkin is probably not ever going to fight those guys. So I don't know what is going to happen in the future of 160 pounds. All in all, it was a good night of boxing. I had a good time watching the fight.
Do you think Canelo beats Bivol? According to him, he said he was gonna beat him.
I don't think so.
I think he should let that fight go, because I think those are the kind of fights that you think you win, but you don't. You know what I mean?
Yes. I mean, he's a very proud guy, Canelo. He's a real fighter, that guy. I mean, there are many things you can criticize him about, but he's a very good fighter at the end of the day. But his ego and his pride want him to avenge the Bivol loss, and it's possible. I mean, if he decides that's what he wants to do, of course, that would be a good fight. I would look forward to it, and I would respect him for doing that too, because that shows he has true character. He's not a loser, so you have to respect that. But do I think he can beat Bivol? More than likely, no. But it's boxing; anything can happen. So yeah.
Man, what do you make of the scorecard as well? I think it was very I think it's bad judging, bro. This is what I'm saying. Let me look at it right here again. Hold on. Wait. So 116, 112 for Canelo, 115, 113, 115, 113. Come on, man, that's like Canelo had all, and it wasn't this much of a easy fight for Canelo, bro. 161, 112. 150, 113, 150, 113.
Okay, I would say I watched about 50% of the fights, to be honest, because I had one eye doing something else. I had one eye on the fight. And from what I've seen so far in that fight, I thought Canelo was dominating, you know. I think 116, 112 is reasonable. I might be wrong, but that's what I think. 116, 112 is decent. And if all three judges had it around that margin, 116, 112, or 115, 113, then I think that's okay. Just my opinion.
What do you, bro? It's not really okay when like 116, 112 is like a total domination, and that was not the case.
So how many rounds did Canelo win?
In my opinion, he won. It wasn't even five. I think he won. Let's say maybe 7. You know, just give him 7 rounds. It was an even fight, bro.
From what I seen and heard, because I was listening to the commentary all through, at least if I wasn't watching it.
Yeah, there's no commentary, bro. Of course, they're gonna be if you for Canelo, bro.
It was just once Golovkin backed him up around the 9th or 8th round.
I don't know why, but I think the judges, they counted the walk down. You know, you don't have to count walk down. You have to count points, right? Someone walking someone down doesn't mean like he's winning. Anyways, Canelo is a special fighter, no doubt. We respect him. I respect him for sure. However, I think he should avoid the Bivol fight. Bivol is like, it's the next level shit. You know what I mean? And Bivol will not be scared of his power. He's not scared of his power. And that's what happened, you know. Normally, Canelo intimidate people with his power. But Bivol wasn't scared in that fight. He wasn't intimidated by Canelo's power, so he took away Canelo's advantage. Yeah, but we'll see what happens, man. Big ups to you guys for coming through. Talk to you guys later. God bless you.
Peace out, bro.
Peace up, brother. Can't you go? Peace up. Peace up. Peace up. I said peace off. Peace up. God bless you, man. Cheers.
I'm seated, I'm locked in. I ride the hood, no tent. When I'm hanging out there window with this disc, you know who spent. I had dreams of moving deuce inside the pant when I get rich. Took that nigga down, we going under. Bitch, I'm really hell. This Drake, I got whole 75 rounds. This bag gon' catch the shells. My